The women will take care of the first leg, men on the second, man also on the third leg, and the last, fourth, and anchor leg for women. So here we are in
relay, just under 10 minutes time. We will see nearly 30 teams leave this arena here by this section of canal and take on the 4 legs of the sprint relay. We'll see the women running the first and the last legs with the men in the middle, and it's going to be a really hopefully exciting fast race. It's quite warm here today in Belgium, 26 degrees. Good conditions for sprinting on what is a very, very flat and fast course. We will, of course, come to that more later. It's only, so it's about 6.5 weeks since the World Champs in Finland. And in that time, the athletes have been doing that transition from the forest to the sprint orienteering, getting their short, sharp trainings in, doing lots of trainings, lots of test races in and around Belgium, in their home countries as well, to get ready for these European champs. And there are big teams selected from each nation, but unusually at the European champs, only 1 team per nation here at this sprint relay. You can see all the women getting ready to go there. And Jonas, that's actually a safety thing that the organisers have said, right?
Yeah, they told us yesterday in the meeting that they were thinking about that with having as many teams, but the passages, the city here, quite narrow in a few places, so they didn't want to risk anything. They say it's, well, we get closer to a real fair play if we just have 20, 23 teams instead of 80. So I think it is a very good decision, and I also think it opens up a little bit more, makes the race more exciting, because we have nations up there like Sweden, like Switzerland, that could put 2 or 3 favorite teams to the start line. Now they only have 1.
Yeah, exactly. Those selections are really, really important. You can see the course lengths, the distances, 18 meters of climb. And actually the course setter said that's the most climb he's ever had in a sprint race here in this part of Belgium, because it's super flat.
Yeah, it is super flat. And when you get the glimpse at the map later on, I honestly thought first that they just skipped the contours, but then I noticed there are actually 2 of them just at the arena here at where we are here. So this is the course. We start with a forking, of course, quite many forkings. This first bit here, they call it the shopping center loop. It's quite a new built shopping center. It's interesting here, many turns. I think the most difficult thing here is in the middle. There's a passage. We'll get back to that between 1 and 2 and 4 and 5 that you have to spot. Then we have the long leg on this transportation part, as they call it, into a park. They actually just opened this park this week. So this is totally new between 6, 7 and 8. Then out here, we get into the old town of Hasselt. Again, still you can see it's so many forkings, only 2 of them, so they're not 4 forkings, not every leg forked to each other. We only have A and B options here. At 11 we have the shortcut for the women. Then we start to turn back. 15, 16, another long leg, not too much of a route choice. Then there's another small part and a TV control here at control 19, and then we get back to the arena and the changeover. You said it before, it's quite straightforward. It's not gonna be the race we'll be discussing so much mistakes of it. I think it's very straightforward. I think it's a good course for a sprint relay. If it would be an individual or even a knockout sprint, I think it would be good with a bit more challenges. But for a sprint relay, I think it's very good. This is one of the options.
Have that extra pressure coming in with that relay running. But yeah, this is the light blue is the shortest one here.
It is the shortest one. I mean, they're quite similar. Often the route choices here, if they differ anything, then it's between 10 and 20 meters, which makes about, let's say 5 to 10 seconds. In this one, I think it's a good option to go well, you said it, the shortest one, of course. To the north, to the south is okay as well. I think the middle one, you have too many turns. I mean, if the distance is so close to each other, then you would like to avoid the turns. Gives you a bit of time to read ahead. If you look into the picture to the left, you can see typical, well, Belgium city. At some point, you have cobblestones as well on where you can run on. Actually, they are very good quality, so that doesn't affect anything about the speed. Or even if it would be raining now, I don't think it would matter too much. So, well, yeah, it's very flat and a beautiful city.
Yeah, for me, having raced in Belgium a few times at the Assom sprint competitions that they hold, it's quite typical of a Belgian, a Flemish town, and this area with that inner ring road, the old town, the mixture of kind of small streets that go in all sorts of directions, some areas that are a lot newer like this, and then also these smaller kind of courtyards that they've opened up, whether that's like a garden, a landscape with a lot of detail, or schoolyards. They often use those quite as well. So it feels very typical, and a lot of the athletes will be very, very experienced. Here is a start list. Of course, we can see our favourites towards the top. Who are your picks? Who do you think we could see in with a chance of a medal today?
Historically, we have often seen a fight between Sweden and Switzerland. Actually, Sweden this year, due to the fact that we're both missing Emil Svensk and, of course, Tove Alexandersson, it's a bit more open. If I look at the start list, I would say Switzerland has the strongest team seen over all 4 of the legs. Swedish team is very strong men. Norway has a good team throughout the whole team as well. Denmark really good on the first and fourth leg with the 2 sisters, Agervik Christiansson. Finland is strong as well. Well, maybe France. We have really many teams that can be fighting for the medals, or at least the top 6.
Yes, and so the organisers have actually built this pontoon bridge here on the water. That's where everybody is lining up. We'll see them run up here from the start. They will actually cross this bridge then later in the race, and we can see those top teams, as you can see. So Alva Sonesson making her debut in a sprint relay team for Sweden, certainly in the first team. Hanna Lundberg is on the last leg there. Victoria Hesa Bjornstad looks in super good shape at the moment. Really, really experienced team there, full of all-rounders, with Eric Lankadal Breivik and Kasper Fosse coming up. Natalia Gempeler's first leg for the Swiss team. This is the same team that won the European Championships. They were second in the European Championships 2 years ago in Italy. Finland as well. Inka Nurmanen's had a really good season. She won sprint races back here in April. She won the Finnish knockout as well. Thomas Hakeler, also watch out for him on third leg. That's France Mel Beauvais on first leg. Cécile Calandry on the last one. And really, the French could be making an impact, I think, in the top 6 as well. They were 5th in the world champs last year in Edinburgh. We shouldn't count out Czechia either. Not that much experience on the first leg with Jana Pekarova, but when we get to the rest of the team, especially when it comes to Thomas Skrivda and Teresa Roturier on the last 2 legs, bags and bags of experience with both of those two. And we will shout out the Belgian team as well. Lots of support from them, as you can hear from the crowd. Yannick Michels really wanting some individual success here at these home European Championships for him. You can see they all have their maps in hand. We count down the seconds. 15 seconds to go then, as we can see all the teams lining up. 27 teams ready to go for these European Championships. They don't know the course that is in their hands yet, but they do now as they unfurl their maps and head out across this bridge. You can see it moving under the weight of all of these runners. They go up off the water, they will climb the steps, and then the orienteering will begin. And as you might expect, as the runners will definitely expect here, there is a route choice straight away. You can see that looks like, I think that's Estonia, certainly Switzerland, Finland, Spain. They've got really strong women on the Spanish team as well, up there at the front so far.
And you said it's not only a route choice in the first control, of course, it's also a forking. We are now in this area, this new built area around the shopping center. And the runners, they try to navigate, they try to find the way to this first control.
Now we can see they are spreading up here. Nice picture.
Yeah, so you can see now they split up as they head towards this road. You've got one control on the left and another one, as you can see, on the right there, following behind. I think this is the Polish team.
And already Belgium with a different route there, Tilde de Smoel.
So those are like how the steps look. That's 1B as the athletes head up here with Victoria Hestad Bjornstad of Norway. We've also got from Spain, I think it's Ana Toledo on the first leg for Spain. No, Maria Prieto, sorry, who took a bronze at the World Games.
To the second control, we have different options here. One of them is, as you see the runners here, stay close to these buildings, continue straight forward, then turn to the right, take the steps down to the control, or you could have turned earlier, go something in between the runners from the other direction. They should come from the top of the picture, but it seems a bit quicker. You can see Sweden, they went this more straight line. Seem to have lost a lot of time.
Yes, actually, and we're not quite close to the runners there to see actually where they've gone, and then you can see them taking different routes to go up from that control there, some up the steps and some up the slope.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage if you continue and take the slope, you can keep on running into the same direction as you came from. Otherwise, you have to turn, but my feeling is that it's a bit quicker if you turn back and take the steps. It's interesting now to see if Sweden really is behind. Is it due to the forking? Is it due to this different route to the second control? I think we get a bit more of an overview than at the first TV control. At the moment, still a lot of action here, very hard to see who is actually in the lead. This is Natalia Gampele for Switzerland, and we have Spain and Norway.
Yeah, those three look like they've got a little bit of gap to the others, which looks like Czechia is in there. But you're right, when we count Sweden in amongst our favourites, we really want to be looking out for them as they make their way towards the fifth control.
And also
this is, I think, the shorter option here as well. That's pretty good that they've chosen this route.
And as I mentioned before, Denmark with a really good start here. If they want to have a chance, they have to change over after this first leg in a good position, maybe even in the leading group, because the men may be a bit weaker compared to the women, but if they can stay up there on the second and third leg, then they have a really good chance to get a good result here.
So descending down the steps towards the fifth control, that's coming up, and now we can get a better chance to see these athletes here. We can see Switzerland, Norway, Spain, Denmark, as you mentioned, is there. Poland is there too, Sweden. Then we look behind, we've got Estonia, that looks like Eveli Karsaku. Czechia is there as well.
Turkey. Latvia, Italy, Hungary, basically all the teams still together within, 23 seconds. We had even Hong Kong, Ireland, Bulgaria there now. So now they have the arena passage. They will head out now into the old town first. A bit of a longer leg, a bit of a transportation leg to the sixth control. This one a bit depending on what forking you have. It's better to stay on the east side or go to the western side of the straight line. Might see that later on the map.
So Natalia Gempler trying to push ahead for Switzerland, but she's not managed to make a gap yet here. You can just see cutting between the buildings, opening up all of these routes, which is what the athletes would kind of expect to happen. There's Finland there as well, and I'm still in amongst the top 8 or so as we move past Poland.
You can see, just after this building, after this passage, you can either go to the east. That's if you have the F control, it's the best option. If you have the E control, then it's better to go to the west and take the entrance there on the to the southwest of the control 6. So either you come from northeast or southwest.
But you only lose like less than
Well,
10 meters, I think, in distance if you take the wrong one.
yeah, as I said, it's very similar. Of course, I mean, if you take the wrong route choice, maybe it's okay to do it once, then you lose 10 meters. If you do it 3 times, you lost 30 meters. Then, well, we're talking about 5 to 10 seconds.
And when you've got this head-to-head racing, like you can see here from Sweden and Denmark, then it's essential.
Of course, and it takes a lot of energy. I mean, to close gaps again might not be that important at the beginning of the race, but towards the end, of course, only 3 to 5 seconds can make a difference then for the next runner heading out on their course.
So this is this recently renovated gardens here, which have literally only opened this week. It's by an art museum and it's being closed to the public for ages whilst they've done the renovations and made sure it opened in time so we could have the course going through here. But you can see everything changing now here with Sonneson in the lead. We saw Netherlands through there as well, France, Estonia, here's Czechia, Hungary as well. It's Turkey, in fact. Here comes Hungary. Watch out for the Hungarian team. They've really got stronger runners on the later legs as well. So that is the 8th controlled there, and then they turn out again for another route choice.
Yeah, and it's again the same concept. It is 9th control. If you have to control a bit more to the north, you should stay closer to the line, as we have Norway and Sweden going there. Actually, it's better for Norway to go that way than it is for Sweden. Sweden should have gone on the one that Spain is on, and Switzerland, they should have gone on the one that Norway is on. So you can see if you have the G1, it's better to come from the west. If you have the H1, it's better to come from the north. But again, will differ just a few seconds.
This one, there
and
is,
of course,
from my calculations, a bit more time to lose, I think, if you,
but you
a
also
bit
have
more
to
distance
think
if you
about,
take the wrong one.
if you go the straight one, you have this smaller passage. Usually it's a bit slower. You can't run that quick. You're in a city. If you take many turns, you have to be careful before the turns because you don't see if anyone is coming on the other side. So usually it slows you down a little bit. If you can go around and just run on the street, might differ a few seconds as well.
So this is the 10th control here in this schoolyard that they've opened up. Here you can see the 2 different controls, and that's also how this course can be quite challenging, in that you really need to have a clear, especially if you're one, if you haven't got anybody ahead of you, you've got to have a clear picture of where your control is, because there's lots of forkings, there's lots of differences in here, and as you can see, very well taped here for the athletes to show the passages between the buildings.
And I mean, those passages are not easy to see. Now we still have quite many runners together, but passages that are not open usually, and you take and they seem private, quite hard to see when you're out in the city navigating. Small hesitation here.
Yeah, maybe some mistakes here. Going into the 11th control.
Of course, it's also forking just there. The GPS a few seconds behind.
It's so hard to see all the other athletes here, but at the moment it looks like Norway, Denmark here. Behind Ida Egve Christiansen, the older of the 2 sisters, was 2nd in the Swedish sprint champs not too long ago. 3rd in the test races here as well. Form part of selection for many teams. So we're by the church now, looking at control number 15. And you can see some of the barriers there, forcing them to go the long way round.
Poland in the lead ahead of Finland. Quite many changes here. I think it might differ a little bit what forking you have. We had Sweden in the lead before, we had Switzerland in the lead before. Now they changed completely again.
And that's what the course planners were hoping for. They were hoping for lots of changes of lead.
They also said that they try to avoid really long legs because they have been doing some analysis from earlier sprint relays, and they noticed that the top teams often get the chance to open gaps on really long legs. So they try to keep the orienteering very intense with shorter legs and kind of try to keep them together so that in the end it's the navigation bit that actually makes a difference.
Yeah, so Agata Lednik from Poland came through there first, Inka Nurminen from Finland into second, Maria Prieto from Spain into third, and Turkey up there in fourth place.
Very interesting. Still very many teams up there.
Yeah, there's Finland, there's Poland. We've also got Turkey, as we could see, the Netherlands, Yves van Dongen. Former world champs knockout medalist for her. It's just good that she's got a full team to race with. Oh, that's a collision from our camera operator there, and lost that picture. Goodness me. That's what they were trying to avoid with having fewer teams on the start list.
I hope it went okay for the runner as well, because
yeah,
of course for both, but for the competition it's good if the camera operator doesn't knock out any of the runners here.
So not many controls to go here at all. We've got these, again, the 15, 16, that's where they've opened up another bit of enclosed garden. But there's route choice, even to the last few controls into the arena as well.
Typical route choices for such a sprint. It's left or right, a few meters difference. Yeah, but Finland's still in the lead now.
Yeah, and with a bit of a gap back to, what's that, 6 other runners super close together coming into this enclosed garden, as you can see, by controls 15. Here we can see her. This is Inka Nurminen.
And we have Spain as well. We have Poland, Sweden, Turkey, Netherlands, and Norway.
Again, there's 2 different controls here, and you can kind of see that not every to be fair, there's also a lot of out of bounds areas, so you have to do that zigzag in there as well. But I think not everybody has got this right here at all. Inka Nurminen, though, leaving the park, heading out towards control 16, which is on one of the trees out here. There you can see the control. Not much of a tree. But it's Inka Nurminen in the lead. There's Alva Sonnesson as well. And then there's a big mess of people there as well. Denmark, Poland, Norway, Turkey still in the mix. Here's Switzerland. Gempeler behind into 8th place. Spain and France still in the mix there. Still 10 teams within 15 seconds. This is very exciting.
It's very exciting. And of course, I mean, we can see it already here. It's a very intense sprint. The top teams, they have to do a lot of work with navigating. If you look at the teams now on the legs coming, I think it is a bit of an advantage for, well, the runners that might not be as good in an individual sprint, and they can take advantage of a sprint like this, because if you're many together, it's very intense. You still can see the others. You take a bit of advantage. It's harder to open a gap on an intense sprint like this one.
All right, let's watch the runners coming in then. We can see Finland and Sweden, 2 of our favourites. Inka Nurminen will hand over to Axeli Ruohola, Alva Sonnesson to Jonathan Gustafsson. There is Spain, there's Netherlands, Denmark, Norway. We have Poland there too, and the next athletes are allowed to come out of their waiting zone for the first exchange. It will be Finland then, just ahead of Sweden. Great work from Inka Nurminen and from Alva Sonnesson to hand over less than a second apart. Amazing work there from Maria Prieto to bring Spain into third place. And now we have already 10 teams exchanged in 15 seconds. That's very exciting. Often we see it spread apart so much in the women's legs. Is this maybe just because we don't have a Tove Alexanderson at these champs? I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the course. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's because it's such an intense course and we have many changes. It will be interesting to see now, to follow if there is any bigger difference in the forkings, how it develops. But of course, if you have so many controls, it's much harder to open a gap compared to when you have a very physical part on one bit of the course.
So we have Austria changing now, Latvia as well into the top 20. Still 20 teams within that 1 minute as they exchange there. Here's the Belgian team, and it is, I think, Tilla de Smul who will hand over to Yannick Michels in 20th place there, and we can catch up with what is happening already on the second leg.
I can see that Sweden started very well here on the second leg. As I mentioned before, I think the Swedish men's team with Jonathan Gustafsson and Martin Rekborn might be the strongest setup of all of the teams here. So I expect them to do really good on this second and third leg now.
And of course, the characteristics of the race are going to change with every leg. I mean, people will start making more of their own route choices, I think, taking more risks and not going with the pack as much as they will have done on that first leg, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're forced to, because now it will open up a few of the gaps. We're not starting all of the teams together anymore. We had a minute, I think, to Belgium already. So as more as it spreads up, even if it's just a few seconds, the harder it gets to stay together.
Experience of the racing?
It was really fun course and really fun competition. I just did my own route choices and own thing, and then I ended up in first place all of a sudden and just tried to execute as well as possible.
And how was the course compared to what you expected for today?
Quite like I expected, but it was like really nice. I really liked it. So good.
And you gave the Finnish team a lead here. What's your expectations for the rest of the relay?
I trust my teammates really well, really much. So I'm counting on them, and they just do their thing, and we end up in some place, and that's it.
Are you hoping for a medal?
Of course, but it's just a bonus, I think.
Great. Thank you, Inka.
Thank you.
Inka Nurminen there, first back after the first leg, saying she just wanted to take her own route choices. But it was so, just getting a feeling of being amongst the runners, just the speed they're moving as well. So intense. And these men have already done that first loop. It's over so quickly. We've got Finland still up there. Norway, that's Erik Langendal Breivik, the new middle distance world champion. We've got Jonathan Gustafsson there as well. 3 of our favourites in amongst the leading group there. Then we've missed France, Switzerland climbing up a few there, Denmark falling down a bit, I think, here.
And I think, just to get back quickly to what Nurminen said, very interesting that she said, suddenly I was up there in the lead. It gives us a bit of information about the course, because it must be quite difficult to keep an eye on the other runners while running when it's so intense, so many forkings, so many runners around. And if you do your job well, you suddenly are up there.
Yeah, we saw lots of changes of the lead, absolutely. And these runners are going to be focusing so much on their own race if they're doing a good job that they won't really see too much of what all of the others are doing. but they've already done that arena passage, already crossed the little wobbly pontoon bridge, and it's Akseli Ruohola from Finland who's in the lead. Erik Lankadal Breivik from Norway in second, Jonathan Gustafsson from Sweden in third. And again, so it's the same course as the women's, they just have a longer loop there as well, as we see Yannick Mikkel's going to try and catch up as many people as he can for the home team. He's been working really hard, just trying to get a lot more top class Belgian sprinters and trying to get them all motivated with a home European champs. That he'll definitely want to try and get the best result for Belgium in a European champs. Absolutely.
And here you can see that they're splitting up Switzerland with the F option. As you mentioned before in the first leg, I think it's the best option to go this way if you have the F control. But we have also seen the differences in the women's first leg weren't that big. But interesting that he seems to be the only one. Ricardo Rankan going to the east. All the others followed Jonathan Gustafsson.
Yeah, but there's really not very much in this route choice. This is the longest control, this transportation over towards the old town, and we can see the athletes now coming towards the first TV control. But it looks like Sweden and Gustafsson just going in ahead there. I think we'll take the time at the next one, which is the tree here, and we can see actually it was Breivik to get in there first, then Delaine, who's brought up a few places, brought up from 10th to 2nd there for France. There is Spain, and I think Denmark in there as well.
Very important now for Denmark to keep keep close to that leading group. There are a few seconds in between Bruman Jensen and Gustafsson, 5 seconds. So very important for him to keep the group in front of him in sight.
So there was Czechia and Great Britain there together. And here comes Ukraine and Italy together as well. Surprised to see, well, I think Czechia again have their best runners coming later on, so we'd maybe expect them to climb up the rankings as well, but certainly at the moment outside of the top 10.
Spain is still doing a very good job, as I mentioned before. Denmark is still doing a very good job, and if they manage to keep close to this leading groups on the men's legs, they have a really good chance to get a medal here.
Yeah, David Rojas on second leg for Spain. And now we have this longer section of forked controls. They really wanted the course setters to do quite a lot of forkings, quite a lot of gaffles on this course, and really to not make it easy as possible for the runners.
Then from control 11, actually a short loop that we didn't see on the first leg. It's the additional loop for the men, down to 12 and 13.
Yeah, so 10 around that schoolyard, then 11 with lots of this section of covered restaurants, where I think it's so hard to see from the tracking and the picture, but when the women came into control 11, it was, there were a few small errors, possibly not quite got the right picture of where the control is. And when the athletes are so close together, all of these seconds really add up when you're thinking about having our top 10 teams in 15 seconds after the first leg. Then these seconds really, really count.
Yeah, and of course, we can see it. Actually, it's a pity that we don't have Denmark up here, because it would show us really how important it is to keep inside to the leading group. I think he lost a bit of contact, and now it goes quickly once you lose sight. So as you said, it's those seconds, even if it's just 2 or 3, very, very important to get them, because once the gap is open, it's so hard to come back.
As you can see there, Norway, Switzerland over passing back through the schoolyard onto the next control, which
like
you can't quite see on the map yet.
Different route by Sweden compared to Norway and Switzerland. Of course, different controls as well. Maybe lost a bit of time there, Jonathan Gustafsson. Very good performance here by Langedal Breivik so far.
And now then these different routes towards the 15th control. And I think if you're taking the one that goes all the way around the church, then you're going to lose some time here.
To keep to the north and then go to the west, as Norway, Sweden and Switzerland are doing. Actually, it's so hard to compare them now. You can see that Sweden seems to be up there again, so shouldn't take that GPS, or we should take it for what it is.
Well, Norway's got there first, ahead of Delaine from France. So still first and second. Then this looks like Rankan in the white cap that we see, very trademark for him. Gustafsson in fourth. Ruohola, Finland in fifth. And, I mean, it's nearly the same top five as what we've seen at the World Champs last year.
But we can
the
see
same
now that
teams,
we lost
all the
Denmark.
teams that we would expect. And this is a big gap now here, back to everybody else.
Still waiting for Spain as well. We had them up there for quite a while. Also interesting, I mean, you mentioned that before, running around the church. France was running around the church, didn't seem too bad. It's further distance-wise, but you have quite small passages if you go the other way, so I think it evens it out a little bit.
Here is Denmark then, just under a minute down. The reason we're focusing so much on Denmark is they've got really, really strong women in their team. And still, Malin Agve Christensen on the last leg could still pull them up into a top 6 position. There's Austria, Portugal also up there. Good first leg from Filipa Rodriguez, who she made the Swedish knockout sprint champs final just a couple of weeks ago.
Interesting to see that Langedal Breivik managed to really switch the focus from forest orienteering to sprint orienteering quickly. Does a very good job here on this second leg so far.
Yeah, not everybody's managed to make that change as successfully. A lot of athletes, I think when we get onto the individual, we'll certainly talk about that more, who've decided to sit out the rest of the season after spending so much time and physical energy, also mental energy on the forest season. But he's made that change in the just over 6 weeks between the World Champs and the European Champs.
And he runs with a lot of confidence. You can see he has been in the lead all the time. You really get the feeling that he is doing the work all the way. He's not looking to the left or to the right if there's anyone else. That looks very, very solid. And, well, they are going to have Kasper Fosser on the next leg, so that looks promising for Norway.
Yeah, it's the same team that won the bronze medal at the World Champs last year. So very experienced team, and a team that's not full of sprint specialists. It's full of all-rounders, really, and bags of experience for me. But it just looks like Breivik is just pushing that gap ahead of France wider and wider and wider, and he's just stretching out the lead. We can't even see the second place team yet.
Yeah, very good. Very well done. Will be the perfect start for Kasper Fosser then into his third leg.
And now France back down, gone into fourth place there. Rankan into fifth. And this top 5 changing orders, but now 13 seconds gap in the lead, opened up over just a couple of controls, is pretty incredible. I think we've got Hungary in the mix here. Zoltan Budoso, Martin Sobot and Rita Marimorosi on the next 2 legs for Hungary. We'll catch up then as they punch this next control. That was Poland with Alejnik there as well. But let's go to the changeover then, because Erik Langendahl Breivik has maintained his lead. Don't know if the gap's still as big actually, because now we have Finland and Sweden in second and third place halfway through this sprint relay.
And
It
this
is
is going to
Norway
be
to change over first.
very interesting, because we're going to see the world champion in sprint, Martin Rekborn, and Thomas Heikkilä. And Heikkilä has proven very good sprint shape. One of the runners who's actually focusing so much on sprint, so he didn't have to switch from forest to sprint. That's going to be very interesting.
Joey Hadorn there, out there 20 seconds down off the lead, 8 seconds off a middle position, and then France in 24th place. Those are the 5 teams that managed to get a breakaway after that arena passage we had very early on in the course. And we wait to see who is going to come next. It is Poland next. Fantastic start for Poland at the moment. Michał Alejnik handing over to Peter Parfianovic. We also have Estonia, Chris Marcus Krav handing over to Jürgen Yunus. And we have Hungary as well. Hungary, Zoltán Budoso handing over to Martin Sobots. That is Czechia handing over to Thomas Krivda. And we have Spain there too. David Rojas handing over to Alvaro Casado. Here's Denmark. Denmark coming in to change over. Oscar David Broman Jensen handing over to Magnus Dewitt. We've also got Portugal and we've got Belgium there. Yannick Michels catching up from 20th to 13th. There's Ralph Street ready to go for Great Britain. Eddie Narbet handing over to him. Ralph back from quite a long time off with injury, making his return to the British team. And now we can see Norway trying to extend the lead, I think.
Yeah, still in the lead. Switzerland, Sweden, different routes here to the second control. No difference, basically, distance-wise. So it should be no difference time-wise either. Maybe difference now because Hadorn is approaching the control from the north. Then he has to stop and turn back if he goes to the north out of the control again. Or then he has the advantage to keep on going, but he turns. Wants to go the same way as Sweden. You can see him down there, the left side of the picture. So Sweden and Finland in the picture. Martin Rekborn and Thomas Heikkilä just a few steps behind. We have Switzerland with Joey Hadorn.
And here with Erik Langendahl Breivik. Erik, you seem to be going quite well out there, first into the finish here after, or the exchange after second leg. How was you feeling?
The feeling was great. I did a pretty good technical run. I think it was tough and quite a bit cool that it's a more rougher part with some steps and some climb at the start. I really enjoyed that part, and it also gave me a good start and a catch up with the other boys on the arena. And then I was suddenly in the lead, and I was somehow happy with the performance on the technical the technical work. So it was extremely good, fun to run.
And your thoughts on the rest of the relay? You have Kasper Fosser and Trine Benjaminsen now.
It's perfect. I think Kasper is really strong, and he likes this kind of tricky streets, and he will push hard from the beginning, I think. And I think also Trine is in very good shape. So really, yeah, that's our two strongest runners, and I'm sure they will perform really well and fight for the gold, I guess.
We'll see. Thank you, Erik.
Thank you.
So Norway are leaders, as we can see. Kasper Fosser did come through Control 5 in the lead, but just a 3-second lead, as you mentioned, Jonas. Heikkilä and Rekborn, two big sprint specialists, really trying to catch up some speed. And look, Cabban there from France absolutely powering across this bridge. I think it has a bit of a give to it, so you maybe get some spring back up there as well. This is Thomas Krivda from Czechia, who's climbed up into 7th spot. We've got Jürgen Younes from Estonia, Alvaro Casado from Spain there as well, Austria, Hungary. I think that's Italy in the background as well, as they seem to kind of have come together again, this group.
And interesting, when we heard Eirik Langedal Breivik here, we had it again, and suddenly I was up there in the lead, as we had on the first leg already. If you do your job, if you get your controls, if you keep calm in these tricky areas, then you have a good chance to do a good performance here.
Need to note that there's quite a few teams that have missed the last control. Those are Spain, Estonia, Ukraine, Germany, Ireland, and Japan all missed the second to last control. We'll end up mispunching and having that disqualification. Yeah, that's such a shame with so many teams just missing that last control, the one in around all those olive green flower beds. But it happens so much, you know, when you think it's kind of all over and done, you just have to run towards the finish, get the last control, you lose a bit of focus. I mean, it does happen a lot. And let's see these leaders through. We've got Norway, we've got Finland, and we've got Sweden all together now at the start of this relay.
And we're waiting for Switzerland as the next team to this TV control. Let's see how big the gap is between Rekborn and Hadon. Here we have Joey Hadon. The gap is growing. 15 seconds.
Yeah, the gap is growing now. This is the same team for Switzerland that won the World Champs last year. Here is France. You can run through the water if you wish. It's not out of bounds or anything. And look, Catburn there into 5th. And he, you know, he's got nobody else around him. You kind of touched on it before. He will have a much more difficult job compared to the others, right?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get any help when it comes to the speed. I think it doesn't matter for him too much technically. Sometimes it's even more convenient if you're alone, but you don't have the speed control, so you don't know if you're running quick enough. It can add some additional stress as well. But a few runners, they like it, they prefer it to be alone. Others, they would rather run in a group.
So Poland still up there in 6th. Parfjanovic, Krivda from Czechia, the next one through. Here's Spain. Just got to know exactly, maybe misread which side of the wall it was on, as Hungary, Italy, Austria all come through as well.
And the runners in the lead, they actually split up a lot to the 9th control. We have 3 different routes that have been executed. Get back to that very soon, I guess.
Here's Denmark as well. And let's have a look at the different routes there.
You can see that Norway went more straight here. Lost a bit of time compared to Sweden and Finland. At least to the 9th control, then they might have a bit shorter option to the 10th, so it might even out it a little bit. Switzerland, I guess that he lost time going to the east to the 9th control.
Yeah, we'll catch back up with them at the 15th control, so we get the next time split, so we'll see what exactly has gone on. But he was behind Joey Hadon. This is cutting through the school here. In these courtyards that they've opened up, leaving the 10th control, heading to the 11th one in 3rd place. It's quite cool to cut through all this section here, and we've seen some mistakes in this part previously. Here's the control, no problems. Continuing straight on to the 12th.
And the next TV control we're going to have at the church, control 15, so they are on the way to 14 now.
Yeah, that's the 12th control Joey had on punching just there, and not too many spectators, I think, out here. Not too many people wandering around the town at this point in the evening,
Yeah,
which
I mean,
will definitely be good for the runners.
I guess that's one reason why we have it so late, because there are quite many people. It's kind of a shopping city here, so they want to have it later in the evening when the shops are closed, so that we can avoid possible crashes here.
And loads of marshals out, 120 stewards out on the course with 2 kilometers of tape used to tape different sections. And now you can see, in fact, that was Norway heading the other way. So Joey Hadorn knows exactly what the gap is there when he will turn around here at this 14th control. In fact, he doesn't turn around, he's going to go the other way. Same way as Finland and Sweden. And this is the 15th control. This is Finland and Sweden here. Heikkilä and Regborn, these two sprint, I was going to say sprint specialists, although Regborn, he's an all-rounder.
He's a real all-rounder. But interesting to see now how big the gap is between the two leading teams and Kasper Fosse. We have seen that Fosse lost a bit of time on the route choice to the 9th control. And then also how big the gap is for Switzerland compared to Norway. So 20 seconds, the time Fosse lost. And now we have France and Poland ahead of Switzerland.
Yeah, France, Poland both snuck ahead and just knocking on that door of the bronze medal position.
Where is Joey Hadorn? Here he is. Another good race so far for Joey Hadorn. Lost a half a minute from the last TV control.
And what's that on route choices? It's hard to see where he's lost the time.
Yeah,
just looking at him, it doesn't look like he's made any mistakes.
Yeah, but he had bad route choice to 9. I think he didn't have the best route choice to 15 either. But it looks very good now for Finland and Sweden. Finland, when we look towards the last leg, they're gonna head out. They're gonna have Maja Sianoja. Sweden's gonna have Anna Lundberg. I think that's a clear advantage for Sweden on paper.
Yes, Norway has Andrina Benny-Minson on that last leg. France, strong runner with Cécile Calandry. Poland with Alexandra Hornick, another good runner as well. So, and of course, Switzerland with Simona Abersold, who you would have to have as a favourite to be the fastest on that last leg.
Yeah, but I mean, half a minute or even more, that's a huge gap.
So they're close to the 18th and 19th controls now. Yep.
I mean, it's not impossible to close a gap of 30 seconds, but there are so many teams in between. We have Switzerland in 6th position, so they have to overtake at least 3 teams in order to get a medal.
And now they've really got to have a good idea of where they're going in here, where the out of bounds sections are as well, because you can lose a couple of seconds here and there on not quite having the right idea of where the control is. And I think that's Heikkilä certainly lost a couple of seconds there because he could have cut slightly differently, I think. And they head out towards the 19th control. And you could see, even as they descended into this bit, some of the athletes choosing to kind of jump over the wall, as we see Regborn in the lead. Yeah, there was some time lost there for Thomas Heikkilä. And it's all about getting every meter, making it as short as you possibly can, even if that means jumping a wall. So let's see what the gap is now to Norway, because that's grown again.
It has
was
been
about 21 seconds.
And then 32 to France. I think that has been growing as well.
Yeah, here's Kasper Fosse, 29 seconds at the moment. Here is France and Switzerland
Poland,
as well.
Right?
Yep, we have lost Poland. Splitting up. In fact, Hadorn will take the shorter route then to the 20th control. Not much in it at all. And we can see Oh, some nervous faces on the last leg runners here. This is in that little gap there by the flag is that second to last control, the one that a few have missed. Not these athletes though, and they punch the last control, ready to change over, and it will be Sweden in the lead then. They are the defending champions, and Martin Regborn has done a fantastic job here to catch up from being 12 seconds down. He's going to hand over to Hanna Lundberg in the lead. And then Thomas Hakeler, another fantastic job from him. Going to hand over to Maja Sienoja. And the crucial bit is that they have about a 30-second gap down to third place. Can they maintain it? Andrina Benjaminsen is here, ready to try and chase. She's got 9 World Champs medals, 7 European Champs medals to her name. No gold yet. Could this be the day when she gets her first gold at this level? There's Simona Abersold waiting to go as well. Defended her long distance world title earlier this summer. Joey Hadorn will change over in 4th place. And Loic Catburn sends France out into 5th. France's good season continuing here, not just the forest, but also in the sprint as well.
And a good finish for Switzerland and France here. We're able to win back a few seconds on the last controls. But of course, I mean, it's I would say it's among this first 5 teams to fight for the medals, even though Poland, as you mentioned it before, they have a strong runner on the last leg as well. But the gap up to the medal, more than half a minute.
Yeah, this is Thomas Krivda coming in now. This will be into 7th place, handing over to Teresa Victorier, who's again 30 seconds off the 6th place. Estonia also doing well here. Jörgen Jonas going to hand over to Lovisa Harrietta Koppel, a junior making her senior debut. So already at the 2nd control.
And you can see that Sianoja really tries to stay in the back of Hanna Lundberg. Took the same route all the way till here. They had the same 4 kings in the very beginning of the course.
Punching the 3rd control and then on to the 4th as well. Different route choice here. There is a forking at this point. And do they have the same control? Do they have the different ones? They have the same.
Same control.
Yep.
Next one will be different. Next forking, they will have different options. So that's on the 2nd loop then. And behind, I think we still have Norway.
And here with Tuomas Heikkilä, Finland. Tuomas, a very exciting leg to follow. First Norway in the lead, then you in the lead, then Sweden takes over at the end. How was your experience of the leg?
Yeah, it was pretty physical from the beginning. I had to start like really fast, and yeah, I felt it in the end a bit, but yeah, almost missed the second last control there, but luckily Martin was there like before me, so I realized that there's one control left. So yeah, but yeah, a good day and good race, and hopefully the end is good too.
And you have Maja Sienoja out there on the last leg with some fierce competition. What's your expectation?
Yeah, Maja is in good shape. Yeah, I know that she can handle this terrain and run fast, so I'm pretty sure the result will be good.
We'll see. Thank you, Tuomas.
Thank you.
Thomas Heikkilä there putting his trust in his team. We can see Hanna Lundberg and Maja Sienoja crossing the bridge here. The gap now 6 seconds between them. And we look for Andrina Benjaminsen. The gap was 26 seconds. That has grown now, so she's not making any inroads on those ahead of her. But I can tell you who is, and that is Simona Abersold, because she has pulled up a place now to be ahead of France. She's running just a bit quicker than those top two as well.
Yeah, she's running very similar, can say. I think it's a 10th of a second that she was quicker.
Calandri then drops into 5th place.
I think it's very interesting that
that
we can see that the gap between Sweden and Finland actually is still about the same as we had it from the second control on. Might be a bit more differences than on the second loop. And of course, we know that they have different forkings now to the 6th control. You can see there F and
there's
E.
difference.
I can't really say if they're split up here yet. You can see behind that Norway and Switzerland have different options as well, and then France another one, then Switzerland as well. Seems like Sianoya is following Lundberg to this eastern option.
But it's only a few more, a few meters that she'll lose instead of going the same, the shorter route choice, which would have been the other direction, the western one. Cutting in there, so Finland in 2nd place, cutting through the courtyards.
Sianoya is not able to see Anna Lundberg anymore, so it probably will be difficult now to keep that gap of about 6 seconds. I think it's gonna grow. I can see it's more than 10 seconds now. Only Norway going on this western option.
Yeah, and they'll meet back up here. We'll see what the gap is then as Hannah Lundberg punches this control and stops actually and goes back in not a good direction. I can tell you that. Might be advantage Finland if she goes the other way.
That's the point where we had Hadorn who lost time to the 9th control. I think it differed about 10 seconds.
I think anyone who backs that way back out of the control is going to lose time. Like we saw from Hannah Lundberg. I think it's further. It's definitely further, whichever option you have from that way. So Benjaminsen and then Switzerland right together.
They are almost together. Hesitation here. She was not really ready with the route choice yet, but then took the right one.
And for me, that just shows how high the speed is that Hannah Lundberg and Simone Abersold are pushing because, and I mean, to be fair, also, they've had quite a few controls in this garden as well before taking to the next one.
I mean, you have 3 controls in that garden. Doesn't give you, even if you have a long leg before, it's very hard to read 3 legs ahead. So usually you skip it. And then, of course, when you've not a lot of time from 6 to 7 to prepare number 8. And then number 9, so well, that's what we could see. But Benjaminsen managed really good. She was out there quickly, and now it's going to be interesting to see.
You also know when you're reading ahead, there's so much of a danger of missing. Oh, hang on, why are we seeing France? Mispunched at.
Not disqualified, so maybe went in there.
Leg? Okay, so we will count out France in the teams
there's another
here.
mistake.
There's a mistake.
And now she starts to be a bit shaky here. Has to be careful. I think that Finland is not far away, or might even have passed already. It's hard to say here at this point. We're still in the middle of the forking, so we have to wait until control 12. Yeah, well, but it's not. We're still in the forking, so it's
yeah.
But we had Switzerland and Norway there as well.
Yeah, we have. And suddenly, exactly as they've all been saying, suddenly you're in the lead. Suddenly everything's back together and everything changes in this sprint relay. We'll wait until we get to a common control before we really figure out the the order. That'll be the 12th control very, very soon, but everything changing now, and these runners having to cope with all of these distractions as well as all of these controls and at the high speed. That's what makes relay running really exciting and interesting for me. The course can look easy on paper, and this doesn't look particularly easy, but you bring in all those other runners, that head-to-head format, and everything can change.
Yeah, and I mean the course might be easy if you look from one control to the next one, but you have so intense orienteering, so many short controls. You have the other runners around you. It must be very intense. And then you look here on the picture down to the right. It's narrow. You have passages that usually not open. So it's kind of, well, I mean that the word of the competition so far is the word suddenly tells a lot about this course.
It really does, and you can see the athletes have taken different routes. We've got Sweden, and we've got Finland, Switzerland taking one route, Norway, Sweden taking another. And who will we see first?
We have Finland here.
Finland. Maija Sienoja from Finland, and
Norway.
then it's Norway, and then it's Sweden.
Where's Switzerland?
Where Switzerland should be coming from the right, same direction as Finland.
But there's a gap.
Abasol, there she is. There's a gap of how much? 11 seconds then between these three, and we're running out of controls soon now as well. But my goodness me, to have all three medals in less than 2 seconds, this is very exciting and not often we see in the sprint relay. It's really cool.
I wouldn't count out Switzerland yet because she has definitely seen the others. She knows about the gap. She also knows that all of the teams are about 10 seconds in front of her. So this is now the chance for her to push really, really hard and try to close the gap physically. But of course, I mean, she might be able to do it, but then it's going to be very, very hard towards the end for Simona Aebersold. Because now she has to overpace. It's not only about the gold medal, it's about the medal at all.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got to have some tactics there as well. And it almost becomes like a knockout sprint here. They're so close. You can see them coming through here. It's still Finland, then Norway.
Different routes. Sweden, Finland, Norway, and Switzerland. Here we have Switzerland. And I think Switzerland and Sweden will be about the same now.
But behind Maija Sienoja.
Very good from Sienoja.
And they are side by side here. You can just see Benjaminson's just wanting to sneak ahead here.
And then control 15 is going to be the last forking. And you can see that leading teams there in front of her. The gap's not very big. This is going to be very, very exciting. Still one forking left in this park. We've seen that before. We have seen quite many runners hesitating a little bit there. Oh, narrow here.
They know exactly where everybody is right now. It kind of seems earlier on in the race, people disappearing in all sorts of directions, not really knowing where you are. And now they absolutely all know. And looks like Benjaminson has stepped on the gas. She is wanting to make it a hard run out from here. She's really putting the effort in to try and drop Sienoja here. Casper Foster had Erik Langendal Breivik saying she was in really good shape, and she's now just stepping on the gas, wanting to get that gap as we're behind Hannah Lundberg here.
I can see Switzerland with the different routes.
We'll see how that manages to happen. So she's got the L control. Will she have read the control description though? Know exactly where that control is, because it's on the grass, not on the track as well. This is really interesting. You can see the other athletes already in the park. No, that's not the best route. Yep. You can just almost sense she's been having to overpace in order to try and catch up, and it's just leading to a few hesitations here for Simona Aebersold. Still Norway ahead of Finland.
And there's not a lot of distance left to overpace from here.
So we look for which team in bronze medal position.
I think the gold is going to be between Norway and Finland. Then the bronze probably between Sweden and Switzerland.
Yeah, there's now a 20-second gap there. Back to these two athletes, back to Hanna Lundberg and Simona Abersol. They will fight it out, but we're
They're gonna
behind
split up, I
Finland
think.
here. If they split up, they have,
Looked
and
like
Finland has gone straight on. Where has Norway gone? Norway's turned back, so I think this is further for Sienoja here, cutting through these courtyards. She's also got to do a change of direction as well at control 18. She'll go in and reverse out of it as well. Will she see that last control? Here we can see Norway punching the control there, and I think Finland's missed the control. She's missed the control. She hasn't seen it. She's missed the control. Oh my goodness me. It will be Norway who will take the win. Andrina Benjaminsen on this last leg. And Finland won't get a medal at all if she finishes here, because Finland will be disqualified. Maja Sienoja crossing the line. That will be a disqualification. We did not see her punch that last control, and it will be the gold medal for Norway. Everything even with Norway, and Andrina Benjaminsen taking her first ever gold medal at World or European Champs race. Let's have a look. We've got a race now for silver and for bronze, and Simona Abersol and Switzerland going to get the silver medal. As long as she too has punched that second to last control. Switzerland into second really, and Sweden into third, because Finland did not get that second to last control.
You know what, Catherine?
Like many other teams.
What? Suddenly we had Norway up there in the end of the course. That's such a typical thing, but it was a very odd finish. You get Finland crossing the finish line, no one of the team waiting there, cheering or celebrating. It's a pity that we had it decided like this, but you could feel that she was very pressed to the limit. And she had to give it all, and we have seen teams before that missed on that one. It's a hard one to see because it's a rather straight line from 17 to 19 and 18 just in between. Actually, just for the route choice you wouldn't really need that control. 18.
And I don't know when they'll realise that. Have they realised already that they've got the bronze medal?
I think they...
Because...
no, maybe not, but I think Team Finland, they have realised that they should not have won.
Yeah, I think so. Lots and lots of discussions.
So Foster hasn't realized yet, I think. Now he realized, they told him.
So we wait then for fourth place, and it looks like Teresa Roturier from Czechia has caught up here. France are out of the picture. You can see Cécile Kalonji was just behind Roturier. They disqualified, I think, on the third leg. So we have Teresa Roturier from Czechia coming in now to take the fourth place. You can see a big gap between those top four and back down to Czechia. But again, that whole Czech team working their way up positions throughout the relay. France, I think, heading in next, but it's a disqualification for them. And so many teams. And actually, in the course setters have said they thought the end was quite simple, and they wanted to make it simple so people weren't put off by by spectators or anybody showing them anything. And we've seen mistakes here. So this is going to put Grace Molloy and the British team into fifth place. They should be really happy with that. Lost a few members from the squad since taking silver medal at the World Champs back in Denmark, but back into the top six. Or another top six after last year's home World Championships. Grace Molloy now living in Sweden. We've also got Rita Maramarossi taking sixth place there for Hungary. The junior still. Former junior world champion in the sprint. And if you're just tuning in, you missed drama at the end of this sprint relay, because Finland, we saw on the pictures that they did not punch the second to last control, which is why I'm taking one number off everybody's finishing position. And next in it is Estonia. I think Estonia also mispunched in an earlier leg. So we see Denmark coming in next. This is Malin Agavik Christiansen maintaining her position all the way round. I think maybe some Mistakes there for Marlin towards the end because she was catching time, I think, on the leaders, but made a mistake towards the end. Denmark finishing in 7th place. Watch out for her, though, when it comes to the individual with the knockout sprint and the sprint coming up. Knockout sprint next on finals on Friday.
I wonder why it takes so long time to kind of figure out the situation around Finland now. They disappeared from our result list here.
Yeah, it's now
quite
disappeared.
a long time.
Well, maybe the download is just really far away from the finish line.
Yeah, but then I mean, everyone's seen it. You could take it out manually as well.
That is true. So Austria, Jasmina Gassner finishing in 8th. This is Belgium.
And the top 10 for Belgium.
Yeah, this is really strong for Belgium. And Marine Cillian just dropping 1 place on her course out there. And here is the Italian team. You may have spotted many of them racing in black armbands in memory of their teammate Mattia De Bertollis, who died after collapsing at the World Games just a few weeks ago. And them, all, of course, all running in memory of their teammates throughout these European Championships.
So here we get.
Let's get a replay then of this last stages. So there was an extra control just behind. You can see in the background Norway and Andrina Benjaminsen punching. That was the control there. You can see her just going past in the middle already on your left-hand side of the screen. Finland coming into that last control, and that was why they mispunched, why they're disqualified.
Actually, you can see it here from 17 to 19. You have a rather straight line, and if you're running in full speed, it's sometimes very hard to spot controls when they're on a straight line to the next one. So if you have to jump over one and you still have a straight line, so it's very hard to see. I can understand that. I mean, she's not the only one missing it, and well, it's very hard, and of course you have to be prepared for everything, but it's always a risk you take as a course planner when you put a control like this. And in my opinion, to be very, very honest, I don't really know why you have this control. Of course, it changes a little bit the route choice between 17 and 18, but not very much. You could have gone straight from 17 to 19, and it would not have made a big impact on the course.
14 teams have mispunched. I don't know how many on that control, but that's over half of the teams having mispunched.
It must be on this. I mean, we have seen
a lot of them was. I don't know that.
I think France was not there. I think France wasn't at another place.
No, France was somewhere else. Yeah, I think it was France.
But I think most of the other teams mispunched there, and that's as I said, you would. It's a risk you take when you put controls in a straight line.
I mean, I'm sure you've done that. I've missed controls out in a straight line before. I remember a city race in London where I just missed one out, and that was gutting. To be honest, I never saw it until you get that readout, you get the download, and you've been told you mispunched, and you go, where? There was a control there. I never saw it. Anyway, let's talk about the teams that did well, maybe as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have to say, well, now we had a bit of critics towards the course planners. On the other hand, we have to say that they managed really good to keep the competition intense. It was their goal to make the navigation and, I mean, the technical aspects of the sprint orienteering decisive today, and they managed that really good. It was an exciting race with many changes in the lead, as we can see here, and they managed very good. It's 17, 8, 18. Yeah, I can kind of understand why. Here, actually, the point where one of the decisive points, 8 to 9, not a good route between 8 and 9 from Sweden. We had the same situation in the men's third leg for Switzerland, where we had Joey Hadorn taking exactly the same route and lost about 15 seconds as well. Hanna Lundberg opened up for Norway and Finland again, and also Switzerland a little bit, but Switzerland never really got in contact to the lead. They were always, let's say 5 to 10 seconds behind. Might have been the closest here, but then they took a different route and some hesitation into 15. And here it would have been interesting to have Finland in the comparison as well, because then we would have seen that they went straight from 17 to 19.
And I'm here with the European champions in sprint relay, Norway. Congratulations, guys. We'll start with you. Victoria Hestad Bjørnstad, tell us about that first leg. Very fast, very dramatic. How was your experience?
It was a very exciting first leg. So much happening, so many route choices, a lot of forkings. So I would say it was a really challenging first leg, yeah.
Did you feel in control, or did you just go with the flow?
I tried to read my own course, but I must admit sometimes I didn't expect people to be in front of me, but then there was Finland, so yeah.
And then if you pass the microphone over to Eirik, we'll hear about that second leg. You took over the lead there, Eirik. Very impressive performance. Did it feel as safe as it looked?
It felt really good. I liked the start of the course with some stairs, and I catched up with the others on the arena passage, and then I maybe had some short forkings and come up to the lead, and I felt really good physically, and I have so good control technically as well, so I felt super good.
And then on to Kasper. Kasper, maybe not your best leg, dropping down 2 places. Finland and Sweden went past you, dropping down 26 seconds. What was your feeling on that third leg?
I felt like I had good speed and pretty good route choices, but I saw that when Martin and Tuomas passed that they had a different kind of speed than I did. So I was a bit sad to see them run away, but at least I held it somewhat together, and luckily I have some really fast teammates today.
And then we don't have any nails left, I think, to bite after that fourth leg with you, Andrine, going out there chasing Sweden and Finland. Then you're suddenly in the lead, and Finland suddenly in the lead. How was it to run that final leg?
It was a lot of fun. There was some gaps between the teams from the beginning, so I got to start calm, doing my own race, just trying to get into some flow. I didn't feel super strong physically. I just tried to push in a good flow, and then catching up some runners, the 2 runners in front. Maybe because of the technique, I'm not sure. But I kind of got confirmed that my shape was actually quite all right compared to them, so I got some self-confidence and kept my orienteering very well until the end. So yeah, a very fun surprise to come into the first place.
And you all smiled. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, great work from Team Norway. I was just checking out. They have won a sprint relay in the World Cup before. That was in Italy, in fact, in the World Cup 2021. But it is their first ever World or European champs win. And, the 2 men on those team have gold medals from that level, but a significant moment for Andrine Benjaminsen and for Victoria Hestad Bjørnstad taking a gold medal at either European or World Championships. It's been kind of missing from their collection, so great to see them take that as well and have that, just kind of keep it together, I think, enough in what was quite a chaotic race.
And it's the first time for Norway. It's also the first time that we have more disqualified teams than actually teams in the ranking. We have, I think it's 13 disqualifications and 12 finisher teams today. So quite a special sprint relay we had here in the beginning of these European Championships.
And as we see some pictures from the race, it gives us an indication of maybe what we might expect from the knockout sprint. We've got qualifications for that tomorrow, the quarter semis and the finals for that on Friday, and then the individual sprint on Sunday. What do you think we might expect from these runners who we haven't really seen competing against each other internationally this year in the sprint?
it's always the European champs. They are always very hard to predict because you change discipline, you change from forest to sprint or from sprint to forest. You have a few runners that are only focusing on sprint or forest, and then they suddenly show up again. I am very excited to see Yannick Michels running and competing in his home championships. I expect him to be good. Benjamin seems to be in great shape, might take the next step and finally win an individual World Cup. There are many questions that we get answers to throughout the next day, so I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I am too, and we had some tough technical racing today. Lots and lots of controls. The course setters wanted to create that challenge for the teams, for all the nations, and if the next races are anything like that, I think, especially when we have the head-to-head racing and the knockout sprint, it's going to be very, very exciting as well. So we'll have the flower ceremony then for the top 3 teams as they line up. I'm not sure the podium's quite going to be big enough for these teams as they make their way behind the podium.
And the flowers will be handed over by the event officer, Annelien Arts, and the event director, Jeremy Jenner. In third place, and the bronze medal team.
So third place goes to the defending champions, and it's the team of Alva Sonnesson, Jonathan Gustafsson, Martin Regborn, and Hanna Lundberg. The really quick men, watch out for them on the individual races as well. Switzerland take the silver medal. Natalia Gempeler, Ricardo Rancan, Joey Hadorn, and Simona Abersol catching up places on the end. On the fourth and final leg there. Again, a good all-round team performance for the same team that won the world champs. But for the first time in a world or European champs level, it is Norway who take the gold. Victoria Heistad Bjornstad, Erik Langedal Breivik, Kasper Harlem Fosse, and Andrina Benjaminsen, the same team that won bronze in Edinburgh last summer, upgrading now twice to take that gold in the sprint relay. And of a team of all-rounders as well, it's very clear to see they've transitioned really nicely from the forest to the sprint as well. I can't wait to see what they do individually. And ultimately, yeah, I mean, we've talked a bit already, Jonas, about suddenly being the word for this race. Everything's just happening so quickly, chaotic for us to watch as lots of drama takes place, and unexpected for the runners as well, I think, too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it don't often have a situation as we heard Victoria Heistad Bjornstad telling us she is doing a good race, and then she didn't expect anyone else to be in front of her, but then there was Finland, and I think that was very typical for this course today, for this race, that there's so many forkings, you're so intense orienteering, so many short controls, that it was very hard to keep control over the situation, to keep track on the other runners. You had to focus on your own course, and the team that managed that really good was Norway. It's not very surprising now when you look back, because it's a very experienced team, and they managed to do very well today.
Well, we'll be back then on Friday for the quarterfinals of the knockouts, as well as the semi-finals and the finals. Really excited to bring you the quarterfinals as well as we continue the European Championships. We hope you enjoyed today's sprint relay, and we'll see you on Friday.
See you then.